See if it makes the connect. It looks like it worked there. Let's see if it comes up in here where it's supposed to come up. Refresh. No. I don't want to reset the stream key. All right, let's see what's happening. I think it makes its own joint, don't it? Uh, that's the fun. That's the only thing about when you the first time you stream on a new channel. This is the type of thing you run into. I heard it buzz, so normally that would mean that it worked. There we go. All right. Let me see if I can hop in here. If it's gonna show it to me, you know what? I should just do this right here. Do it on my laptop like I always do. And then we gonna be good to go. Appreciate you doggone being patient, everybody. I don't think nobody in here yet, but you know, we gonna hit later, back, later, uh, whatever, bro. All right, we almost ready. I don't even know if nobody in the chat right now. I hope y'all are, but if not, it is all good. All right, here we go. Boom. No, it is not for kids. So there we go. All right. We in here. I'm just trying to let it catch up with me real quick.
What, it's delayed a little bit?
Yeah. You know what I'm doing. I'm watching. I'm looking at it over there, but I'm supposed to just be looking at it right here. Here. But you know, first stream, first setup. Hey, we got it together though. So it's looking it's looking good. All right, everybody, welcome. Damn it. No, I'm just joking. Welcome to the first episode of. Actually, it's more like a trial run of the Easy Buckets show. Obviously, I got my guy Sean McLeod in the building. Y'all already know him. Former Atlanta Hawk, Boston Celtic.
What it do? What it do? What it do?
One of the I don't even know. Like I said, this is one of the guys I watched when I was in high school, obviously, and when I got to college, I was like, man, you know, we should call him a Cleon, but you know, that's I'm sure everybody did. Then he got drafted. He got
at least once, yeah, at least once.
Yeah, you know, everybody got to say that. We used to. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. I told you when I had first. I promise you, I was playing NBA Live '99, and or was it 2000? It was either '99 or 2000, whatever it was. It was my first year of college, and I got there, and I was like, nobody don't know who this is, but I do. And I went in there and put all your stats up to 99. And bro, when I'm telling you I was shooting threes, that's like, damn, who is that? I said, man, don't worry about who that is.
Hey, I used to, when online first came out, right? I used to use me and I would be getting buckets and they'd be like, man, that dude ain't that good. I'm like, hey, man.
I know, right?
I guess he is.
It is what it is, man. But hey, that jump was too funny though, bro. The dudes is like they was killing me, but you know, I mean, I play. You know how it is. You play basketball for real. You're not really that good at live, so I wasn't that good because I didn't know how to do all the cheesing and stuff. Like I'm like,
Yeah,
this dude can't
cheese.
shoot that. Them dudes is out there shooting threes with Mike and everything, bro. It was crazy. But you know, that's
Yeah, it was wild.
that's how it goes. But anyway, we getting right into the podcast, man. Listen, I think everybody knows the biggest points of the news this week, and if you didn't know, now you do. LeBron James signed a 2-year, $8 million deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I know a lot of people are probably thinking, you know, how is it like the biggest thing with that was people was wondering how is that going to work out? How is he going to fit in? How he was going to do this? How he's going to do that? And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself, if everybody, like, obviously the first thing I thought was everybody don't watch basketball, so that was the first thing, because all of those guys on that team, nobody you got. There's nobody that's ball dominant. Anybody can get any amount of points that they want every night, but nobody is ball dominant. And even though Tyrese Maxey scores a lot, he doesn't have to be ball dominant in order to score. He can play off ball just as well as he can play on ball. Just like he can be like I was looking at it like, I'm like, LeBron is gonna allow him to be like really unlock his entire game, because he's playing with James Harden. It's like he was getting buckets, but he wasn't the focal point. Now you're gonna be the focal point, but you don't got to be the point guard, and like that's a whole different thing. So you can get as many buckets as you want to, but somebody else is taking all the pressure off. So pretty much you're gonna be able to just run around and be like how AI was, more or less, but a more athletic. I mean, it's hard to be a more athletic version of AI, but a taller version of AI then, like at 6'2" or whatever. But how do you see this Celtics team coming together? Not Celtics team, I'm sorry, because you used to play for the Celtics. But how do you see this Sixers team?
I played in Philly too.
That's
with
true.
AI.
You did play with Jermaine Jones, didn't you? Yeah.
Drew, I just saw Drew like at the end of the season last year. I saw him down at the arena, man. It's my guy.
Yeah. So how do you feel this thing is gonna come together? Like what do you foresee? I just want you to just like, how do you see this whole thing coming together, and what are your expectations? We'll do how do you see it coming together first, and then we'll talk about expectations after
that. I mean, I think the guy that's gonna really have to figure it out is VJ Exum.
Sir.
He's the guy right now. I mean, he's looking at being the fifth option now.
Right.
So if they could get him going, I'll say this first. The more points LeBron James average, the harder it's going to be for the team.
I agree with you.
Like LeBron has to come in as a glue guy.
Right.
I mean, it's not who he's been in his career, but in order to win the championship, he's got to be that guy that just, he's going to be in great shape, obviously, because he's LeBron James, but he's got to fill the holes when those other guys are not on. You know what I'm saying? So if he does that, they could be one of the strongest teams in the East. But if LeBron comes in and he's averaging 25, they're not going to be. Then I don't think they're going to be as good, because it'll take away from their young core. And and the more offensively efficient LeBron is, the less defense he'll probably end up playing.
That's a fact.
So they need him to be more of a. If I had to, give him a comparison. The kid from the Knicks, OG Anunoby. He's got to play a role similar to that.
You know what? It's funny that you said that, because I was telling my partner that yesterday, and he was like, "Bro, we are not comparing OG to LeBron," and I'm like, "It's not a skill level type thing, but it's a role. It's a role. Yeah, he's got the ball, while Brunson is running around doing, and then he gets Brunson the ball, and then Brunson does what he does. A lot of what Brunson does off the catch, like he can play Brunson. I look at Brunson and Maxey a lot like the same type of player. Like, except for Maxey just way more athletic. Way more athletic, faster. Right. But I look at their game, the same type of game, because it's like Brunson is more, he's just, and both of them are just like, you would look at them like how I look at Steph. When they give the ball up, they become more dangerous, because it's like,
because they move without the ball. Yeah, exactly. They cut. They're not stationary when the ball is not in their hands, and which is rare today in the game. Most of these players watch each other play basketball as opposed to playing the game.
Right.
That's really the biggest difference. But when you got a player like Maxey, who I absolutely love watching him play,
I agree.
He can play on and off the ball. Right. His IQ is really high. And then you put in the mix, your number one guy is going to be Jaylen Brown. Your number two guy is going to be, and he's got to be in shape, because if he's not in shape, Embiid's going to be a huge problem for them. He'll be out a lot. I mean, he needs to play this year. If I would say, in order for him to be as effective for this team to win a championship, Embiid's got to play at about 260, 265, not 290.
Right.
Because he'll be more mobile. He'll get injured a little bit less.
Right.
But he'll be able to run at the pace of the game that those guys play. One of the biggest things about Joel Embiid historically is he can't keep up with the pace of the game, so you got to slow down to get him involved.
Right. Now, thing. Go ahead.
That's going to be the key.
I think this is going to be the main thing because it's like I think he's got, like you said, two options really. It's going to be get down to 260 or whatever, or bro, you're gonna be playing like 20 games this season, and then we're just gonna make a playoff push. Like that's
and LeBron
really,
will be at the 5.
Exactly, and that's really what it's gonna come down to. Do you want to play, like, if you want to play most of the season, 260 or what have you, and then even then, bro, do you think he's gonna play more than 38, 39, 40 games?
Like we talked about with LeBron's scoring.
Yeah.
Embiid's weight is the same thing. If the lighter he plays, the more games he'll play.
Right.
Because then he'll get injured less.
Right. Now, one thing I do want to say about LeBron is, like, this is how I'm seeing it. I'm penciling LeBron in. He needs to be looking around about 15
to 18 points a game.
15 and 10 or 12 assists or something like that. Like, if he's looking around there, I think the team.
I don't even think he need 10. I would say at 8 assists, he'd be fine. If he can get 16 and 8 consistent, which we know he's capable of doing it, but I'm talking about in that third option role for,
Right.
I think maybe even the fourth option, I would say, but he just needs to be a gap filler, and if he can get 16 to 18, I would say 8, I think they're a championship team. But if he, like I said, the more points he score, I think it'll take away from the young guys and they'll get discouraged.
I agree with you because, like you said, we know Jaylen Brown's gonna get his. He's been getting his off ball, playing with Tatum, and sometimes you just know you're not getting the ball from Tatum. Sometimes it just ain't happening, bro. It just is what it is. Down at the end of the shot clock, he might kick it up there. Like, that's just not gonna happen. So being able to turn it on at a moment's notice, playing beside Tatum is whole. I don't expect him to have any issue. Now, I think that he probably thought that he was gonna come to Philly and play more of that point forward role and kind of facilitate for Maxey, kind of like he was doing last year in Boston. But then LeBron comes, and now it's like, okay, now I'm not going to be on the ball, but you're still the second option, or what have you.
And Jaylen Brown's really not a great ball handler. I would say he's gotten better,
Right.
Over with obviously with as he's matured and gained more experience. But the biggest thing with JB is like, all right, he's been in this, and I'll say this. Let me start here. The reason that he said that it was the greatest season that he's had, even though they've won the championship, people were comparing it to that. It's because everybody thought they were going to be a lottery team,
right?
And he proved that he could carry a team throughout the whole season as a number 2 seed without Jason Tatum for the majority of the year. That was what he was comparing it to. He was comparing it to expectation, not necessarily to outcome. And so I don't disagree with him. I think it was one of his, if not the best season he's had, individually, not collectively as a team, but individually doing what he did. But here in Philly, he won't have any restrictions. He'll be the number 1 option, as long as he's on the floor. He'll have the ball in his hands. And in those times, the biggest thing is his handle going to set him up for success here, like it did in Boston. Is he going to improve on that, being that point forward that you mentioned before, where he can be a facilitator as the double teams start to come? Because it's a huge difference being the first option, second option, and the third option. It's a huge difference between the two, between each one of them. Right. I was a third option in my career as a pro. And I was okay with that. You know why? I never saw a double team. But the good part of that is nobody could guard me one-on-one.
Right.
So, so there's pros and cons to understanding how the game's being played and who's on your team and how to leverage other people's talents to make sure that you can maximize your opportunities.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And like we said, with having, I think what having LeBron is going to do also is you got somebody who's automatically putting pressure on his guy at all times. I don't think it's a four in the East
Yeah.
that can really stay in front of LeBron consistently. So he, from night to night, he's gonna have from night to night in the East, LeBron's gonna have a favorable matchup. Let's just say it that way. For the most part, he's gonna have a favorable matchup. So that's gonna allow him to just create for everybody. And I'm looking at it like you got three guys that don't need a whole lot of creating for. So Jaylen Brown, he can catch and create but for himself. We already talked about Maxey. We know VJ, but like you said, that's going to be the person that, like, he's probably thinking that this year, oh, it's my time. I'm about to take the next step or what have you. And then you get the team that you get. So you add Jaylen Brown, and he's like, I'm already going to take a little bit of a step back. I'm automatically fourth option, and then LeBron comes in. But like you said, I think LeBron, if he can take more of a run, he needs to take more of like a Rondo type role. Like that, like not even thinking
Big
about
four.
scoring.
Only he needs to score when other guys aren't.
Right.
I'll tell you the biggest problem they'll have is outside shooting. If they don't find some shooters, that's going to be an issue because then they'll pack the lane when they have a bunch of drivers and Jaylen Brown, LeBron, and Maxey and Ekstrom. Like those guys aren't great shooters. So. If they don't find some shooters, Joel Embiid may be the best shooter they have. Now we need him to take less threes.
Right. Now they did pick up Kentavious Caldwell Pope, and then they did get Dean Wade.
Caldwell Pope's a good player. I've watched him. I recruited him when he was in high school here down in Thomasville, Georgia. When I was at Indiana, I remember watching him play, and I recruited him. I loved him to death. I knew he would be a pro.
Right.
When I was at Indiana, I tried really hard to get him because I thought he would be special.
Right.
But it's a good thing that they got him, but they also need to get some more shooting for some young shooting around him.
Right.
And that's going to be the key to their success too.
Totally.
I'll take some.
Can't disagree with that. Now looking at Maxey, so VJ they didn't shoot bad from three this year. VJ shot around about 38%, almost 39. Maxey, it was a down year because he had the ball in his hand a lot, so he shot about 34%. But when Maxey plays with a facilitator, a willing facilitator, like when he played beside James Harden, he was shooting around 45% from three, 40+% from three. Then on his catch and shoot, he was shooting around 45-ish or something like that. So much better when he has a willing facilitator. But like, I just don't the last couple of years, there hadn't been much facilitating been happening for him. He's got the ball in his hand most of the time, and he's trying to do the thing, especially with Embiid being out as much as he had been. So.
Yeah, that changes the way you play, having the ball in your hand versus, the game's not the game of old where you come off screens, down screens, or curls or anything like that. And the actions everything's really done out of a screen and roll or some sort of pick and pop or pick and roll or double screen to screener or corner three. Like that's really the whole game, the way that it's played today.
And the crazy part is with the people that they have, can you imagine what these guard-to-guard screen and rolls or guards like with LeBron? LeBron getting the guard-to-guard screen and roll.
Listen,
and then
if a guard set a screen in the 90s, he'd be on the ground bleeding.
That's a fact. But now you're going to have LeBron coming out there, set the screen, get the switch. Now you give it to him. So now if you get the switch, Maxey's on a 4 now.
Yeah.
And he's dead man walking. And then if you get the switch, he gives it back to LeBron. LeBron got a 1 on him. He's same type of deal. Or you do the same thing. Like you can really match up. This team is gonna let you match up Hunt in a way that you just couldn't, because let's say Jaylen Brown has the weaker man, and you do the same thing. You do the guard the three pick and roll, boom, screen. Now, if you get the switch, Jaylen Brown is gonna kill a guard, and Max is gonna kill most threes in the league. That's just
there's a lot of opportunity. Let's call it on this team, man. Like
yeah,
I think this Sixers. I was shocked that he didn't go back to Cleveland just because he's from Cleveland, but this was probably the best fit, I would say, for an opportunity. Still don't think there'll be anything higher than a 4 seed, I mean, with LeBron, but when you have LeBron on your team, that really doesn't matter.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, the playoffs is a very different game than, and then once you get to the playoffs, every round is its own, and I think when you got a guy like LeBron on your team, anything could happen, you know?
And that's what I want to say. I want you to talk a little bit more about that part, though, like, because you said something right there, and I think a lot of people don't understand that in the NBA, playoff series are their own season, like their own mini season. Like, they don't understand. A lot of people don't understand how from night to night, you could score 30 points a game easily, blow people out of the gym, and once you get into the playoffs, their game like nobody's game planning for anybody night to night on the same intensity that they're game planning for you in the playoffs. So night to night, these are our notes. We're gonna do what we can do. We can, because you may be in Philly on Monday, and you might be in LA on Wednesday or what have you. So you got a general game plan that you're gonna try to execute in the regular season. We're working on what we're working on. We're trying to get better at what we're doing. But in the playoffs, it's like, no, we're stopping him. Like, you're not gonna beat us this type of way. And sometimes it's like how it was in 2020 when we saw when they played against the Denver Nuggets. We saw high usage out of Dwight Howard and Joel and McGee, JaVale McGee against Denver, and them guys didn't get to play again the rest of the time. Like, you don't get to play any against Miami, or they didn't even get to play really up until they played Denver. But then they had to get heavy usage because, like I said, everything is like its own little mini season.
Yeah, it's a matchup. Right. Yeah, it's a matchup. You want to take your best players out of the game. You got to use what you have to kind of put it in front. So if you got a guy averaging 25 a game, if you can keep him to 21, it gives you a chance to win that series.
Right.
And that's what you want to do. You want to make it tougher for them to make the shots that they would normally take. That's really the goal in the playoffs. During the regular season, you're just trying to outscore people.
Right.
But in the playoffs, you really got to make it tougher for their best players and put their role players in a position where they have to do more. And if they are not ready for that, that's the difference between winning in the playoffs and not winning the playoffs, as we saw with the Knicks going through the series, each series. I mean, you look at it, the Hawks were the only team to beat the Knicks twice in the same series. And I was at game 2 when the Hawks won, and it was I played there for 3 years, and this is the loudest, and I've been going to games for the last 20. Right. So that was the loudest I ever saw that building.
Exactly.
And they came back and got blown out by 50.
And I was supposed to be there, and I'm out here trying to be a good dad. I couldn't even.
I did ask you to go, didn't I?
I was supposed to go, man. I'm trying to be a good dad. My son doing some stuff. I'm like, man, I'm supposed to go. My wife was like, she's like, you can go, you can do, because I was like, nah, I'm gonna do this right here. So, but it was all good though, man. But I think
we'll pick it up this year. They should be better, so that'll be fun to watch this year.
Exactly. Oh yeah, it's gonna be very fun to watch. But I think that's the main thing that I just think that a lot of people just don't get is like let's even a couple of years ago when the Lakers was playing the Warriors, and Lonnie Walker IV got a contract off of killing Steph in 3 different games. There was like just there was no matchup. They didn't really have a mismatch. But Lonnie Walker IV was the mismatch. So they just gave him the ball, clear out, let him kill Steph. And it was just nothing that Steph could do about it because I mean he was just too quick for him. Next
Yeah.
series, didn't even get to play. You you don't even get
Yep.
to play, and it's just like people. I think that's it's just crazy that a lot of people just don't see it like that, and
Listen,
and
and that's today.
yeah,
Hey, Jay Easy. That's today. Like I remember my rookie year, man, playing for Lenny Wilkins, and we were on a West Coast trip. You know, that 11 games and 13
right,
nights West Coast trip. I was averaging like 16 a game on that West Coast trip. It was nice. You know, Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock, Matumbo, like we tough. And I'm
right,
like sixth man, kind of seventh man as a rookie coming off the bench. I'm in a nice flow. And we get home on a 5-game stretch, playing at home after that long series. And I ain't get into the last game of the stretch.
wow,
So when I tell you, but I'll tell you what, you better be ready when they
you
call
got to
your
stay
name.
ready.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they pay you for. They don't pay you to whine, cry about not playing. They pay you to be ready when your time is called. You know,
And,
so you know, like a guy like me, just coming from where I come from. You know, I had my 100-pound weight vest. I used to run the stairs in the arena. I had my stairmaster at the crib when I put my 100-pound vest on for about an hour every single day after, you know, staying for practice and getting my shots up and playing 1-on-1 with Lorenzen Wright, you know, all the guys that
right.
were, you know, Anthony Johnson, just to stay in shape, you know, getting all my suicides in on game day. Like, you better stay ready.
And a
You
lot of
know what I
people don't
mean?
even know
So
how
that's the
crazy that
key.
is because Lenny didn't
Man,
play
listen,
rookies. And we just know
yeah,
that.
he hated.
He
He used to be like, "You young guys." That was his favorite line. "You young guys."
exactly. And who else? Who was the coach after Lenny? I want to say he ended up being the coach for New York for a little while too. Mike. I cannot think of what his last name is, but he ain't playing
Not
no
Mike.
rookies
Not
either.
Mike. You talking about? He played from Indiana.
Let me see.
Yeah, he came. No, so when Lenny left, we got Lon Kruger.
That's right.
Yeah, it was Lon Kruger that we got, and he was coming from college from Florida, and that was a little weird because, you know, he just, they ain't had no respect for him, man. As good
Right.
of a coach as he was, they ain't had no respect for him, the older guys. So, you know, that kind of,
Woodson.
there was a
That's
lot of
what we talking about.
deterioration on the team.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we talking about. Mike Woodson. Woodson, he ain't
yeah,
really play rookies like that either. That's why
yeah. He was
when
old
Jeff
school
T,
dude too.
when Jeff
Yep.
T got here, I was like,
Oh, Jeff, funny. That's a
yeah,
funny guy.
yeah. Hey, Woody ain't playing no rookies, man. And that's why
Nah,
when Lynn Sanity was going crazy in New York,
in New York,
and then Woodson became the coach, I was like, yep, well,
and
that's
right
over
away,
with.
that's
I said,
going.
well,
That's
that's over
going out
with.
the window.
He don't play rookies, so that's just how they go. But
Yeah, but you know, that's how the old school coach was. You had to earn it,
mm-hmm.
man. And you know, like I was playing behind a guy named Tyrone Corbin who had about
Ty
15,
Corbin,
16 years
yeah,
in the league, and you know, on one leg. And I'm like, man, you got all this, you got these young legs over here, and you still sticking. And I love Ty because he was a great mentor to me. But
right,
it is what it is, you know. I learned a lot from those guys, though. You know, that was the best part of being a rookie on a veteran team.
right. And that's the main thing. And I mean, we were loaded back then too. Like you said, you got Steve Smith, Mookie Blaylock, Ty
I
Corbin,
mean, we had Grant Long,
Matumbo,
you
Grant
know,
Long,
Alan
man,
Henderson.
yeah,
We
Chris
was we
Lang
was
was Chris
tough.
Lang on that team?
Nah, not yet. Not yet. That was we had Anthony Johnson,
Oh yeah,
Alan Henderson, and then Smitty got
big
traded for
dude.
yeah, he got traded for J.R. Ryder and Jimmy Jackson. So that was
Yeah,
pretty cool. And then we got Jason Terry that followed that next year. So, you
yeah,
know, Deion Glover was you know, Georgia's own. But
yeah,
you know, we had a really strong young team, but you know, we didn't have really good leadership from the top, as from the coaching perspective. And then we had a lot of young guys that were eager to play, but just didn't know how to put it in use for the rest of the team. You know.
yeah. Hey, that's how it goes sometimes, man. That's the biggest thing about the NBA is just figuring out what your role is going to be and how to put it together. Because that's what a lot of coaches always say. They'll be like he's got the tools, he just don't know how to put it together yet.
Yeah,
Or
and you got to be willing to like play multiple roles throughout the year. Unless you're a superstar, like you got to understand like what your team needs when they need it. So like one of the
Right.
things that I've really tried to focus on as a player, and I think a lot of young players could take some experience from this is, like I always would talk to the coach and say, hey, what do you need from me
Right.
for us to be a good team right now? And so if I'm going out and doing that night in and night out, there was no reason I shouldn't be playing.
Right.
But at least if I was doing it, I could hold the coaches accountable to what they said.
Right.
So if you said, I need you to get more rebounds, I'm going to focus on rebounding because I'm going to always shoot the ball. But if I focus on rebounding, then I can hit the floor. So
Right.
I was never put in a position where I didn't know why I wasn't playing if I wasn't doing the job that the coach needed me to do for us to be successful.
Right. That's real. That's really like how Draymond Green described his thing. He said, I can't score like D. Lee. I already know that right there. So I have to figure out a way. And he said, I get in the game and I would try to score. 'Cause a lot of people didn't see the Draymond Green summer league tape. Like that dude get buckets. But he said,
when I was at Indiana, he was at Michigan State when I was coaching at Indiana. I remember his freshman year. He was a fat, chubby little thing, but he was a monster then because he was tough.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like you could see how good he was even as a freshman. And because as soon as he got in, he changed the game.
Right. And that's what he was saying. He's like, I get in the game and I try to score, and I realized I was coming off the floor. And then he said, I get out there and I start playing defense and start facilitating. And then I realized I wasn't getting pulled off the floor as much. And so that's when he said, okay, well, I realized what I got to do in this league. Same thing with Pat Bev. You got somebody scoring 38 a game in high school or whatever.
In high school, I recruited him too.
Yeah. and then scores in college, and then you get to the league. It's like, well, we don't need you to score, brother. And Darius LeBron. They said LeBron gonna be playing point guard for the most part. He's going to be playing point guard.
Yeah. So. I mean, LeBron's IQ, that's the cool thing about having LeBron on your team, man. Like, I'll tell you a pro and a con right now that I see. Right. The pro, let's start with the con. The con is are those young guys going to be starstruck?
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, that could be a thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, are they going to be trying to appease LeBron instead of playing basketball? You know what I'm saying? Like, that could be an issue and a problem. And LeBron's got to, coach that and help facilitate making sure that they stay in tune. And then, the pro to that is like LeBron is an amoeba. Like he can play all today. He can play all 5 positions and
whatever you need him to do.
And you won't lose. He won't lose any ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he's at the 1, 2, 3, 4 to 5, you're not losing much, So that's the pro to having a guy like LeBron on your team.
Right.
But like I said, the con to that is, are those young guys going to be starstruck? Are they going to be able to play to the level that they're capable of? Just getting out there playing freely.
Right. And I think they said that they're about to have a mini camp or something like that just to kind of get everybody on the same page and kind of just do that. They're about to start early, and they already been getting some work in together anyway. Like, you work out with Maxey, but at the same time, like you said, it's different when you get the clock and the whistle on versus
and the crowd,
together. There you go.
Yeah, and the crowd. Your crowd changes everything, man. That's what pressure bust pipes,
Right.
And so, but I think Maxey's good enough to be able to, even if it does happen early, VJ Epscombe, if it happens early, I think they're good enough to really make the adjustment as the season goes.
And I think that's like you said, that's the main person that I'm worried about is VJ Epscombe and his growth. Like, I expect him. Now, one thing I can tell you is whatever VJ was averaging last year, I think he was averaging 16. He could easily get 20 this season because that's 2 more runouts a game from LeBron. Just rebound, and just throw it out. Like, that's kind of like what happened with Kuzma. Like, Kuzma was scoring 20 a game, and I'm like, like 4 of those buckets a game was probably long passes from LeBron. And you go to Washington, you go down to 12, and you're like, they're expecting you to get the buckets, and just don't.
And that's not who he is, right?
Yeah,
that's not who he is,
right?
That happens a lot, man. When you see a guy on a bad team average 18, he'll get a big payday, and then when he gets to the team, he's not as good,
right?
And it's because the type of buckets they expecting you to get, because you got a certain, you've been playing with a person that elevated your game versus you elevating your game. That's another part of scouting and recruiting. Like people don't understand like the difference between how people score without the ball, with the ball in their hands, in rhythm, catch and shoots, like all of those things you got to put. And I'll share this story. So I remember the first time I got a head coaching job was at St. Benedict's Prep up in New Jersey. And I had like 9 Division I players on my team. And, we started off top 25 in the country. It was everybody. We had all these, Tyler Ennis was a 10th grader. He was, played at Syracuse, played for the Lakers. Really good player, man. I thought he was excellent. And so I was coaching the team, and we finished the season like 16-14, and we lost about 12 games by like 3 points or less. So it wasn't like we were getting blown out.
Right.
We were just losing them because as a coach, I was really good at developing players. I wasn't good at managing personalities yet. And I had like 6 seniors on the team. Tobias Harris, his brother Tyler Harris was on the team. We had Phil Nolan played at UConn. I mean, we had a really good team. And the next year going in, I left because, a lot of personal stuff. And then I ended up coaching in Georgia. And when I put my team together, I put together a team of 3 guys and some role players. And I played the same schedule, but this time I won 85% of my games. And it was because I learned to scout and put pieces together like a puzzle to see who played off of each other well and who did what well.
Right.
And that's the difference between understanding the game and taking it to another level and being a better coach. I instantly became a better coach when I would learn to put the pieces together that worked better together, as opposed to just having a bunch of good pieces.
Right. And that makes absolute sense. And like we said, but with Philly, I think they got both parts. They got pieces that are good pieces,
and they got really good pieces,
and they work. Yeah, they're gonna work well together. And not to keep harping on it, but like you said, that I think everybody that knows anything about basketball is saying the same thing. They most worried about VJ. Everybody else is who they are. But when you got a young guy that's developing, you want him to keep his confidence up, and I don't think he's gonna have a problem with that. And I think that LeBron is going to It's
just sometimes it's not enough space. It's just not enough space. Like when you got, it's hard for 5 guys to average 20.
That's a fact.
And we know. Jaylen Brown's gonna lead the team in scoring.
Right.
Embiid's gonna be second. Maxi's should be third. And if he's not, if LeBron's third, I think we're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
But if Maxi's third, I think Maxi should be around 20. Embiid should be about 22, and Jaylen Brown should be about 20, 26, 25. If you could get that in order, and then like I said, LeBron about 16, and if we can get Edgecombe doing what he does and staying consistent at about 16 as well, I think they're gonna have a heck. That's a lot of points right there.
That is a lot of points. And I even had Maxi being the leading scorer.
Number 2?
I had him at number 1. I had him at number 1 at like 28.
If Jaylen Brown's not the best scorer, if not the leading scorer on that team, it's going to be a lot of problems.
You think so? And it's not because
just
of anything.
Personality.
Just personality
problems. These are the areas where personalities are going to clash. As a player, like when LeBron is not playing defense, like I could see Jaylen Brown going bananas. You know what I'm saying? Like I could certainly see that because he takes pride in defense. When you got an older guy like LeBron, maybe saving something for the fourth quarter, I could see a lot of meltdowns happening. So, but those just little things that you learn to deal with throughout the season. Hopefully, they can have some good dialogue about how to get through that stuff, man.
Right.
But I can already see where the meltdowns are going to come a little bit, but. That's the best part about basketball. It's a different game every night, and you get to play it again and again and again, and you don't have to wait till the next week to play.
Exactly. And the good thing about it too is going to be that because I can see a world where it's like Jaylen Brown is going to take. Obviously, we know he's going to take on the top scorer most of the time anyway, and then you're probably going to put VJ on the second guy or what have you. And then you're gonna throw Caldwell Pope at him when he comes off the bench. And then,
because he's a pretty good defender too.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun to watch, and it's like I think that Jalen's point production is gonna go a lot by how much he wants to take on the defensive assignment.
I agree. He's got to lead with his defense, and
Yeah.
I think that'll solidify him as a leader on this team. Because if it's hard to play both sides of the ball and be as efficient as he needs to be, as he's been. The Celtics have had, when he was there, as good as a defender I think he is. They had really good defenders at every position.
They definitely did. Well,
so they could play people one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a key. Can they play guys one-on-one, or are they going to be forced to help? Because Embiid, we know he can't guard anybody. So, so that's going to be a huge key this year as well too. Just how well can Embiid stay healthy and stay in front of any switches and mismatches?
And right now, him staying, like you said, him staying healthy is going to be the paramount thing. But again, I think they can manage that. I think they can figure that out, because really you got three guys that can get you. You got Edgecombe, you got Maxey, you got Jaylen Brown. They can get you through the regular season. That trio can get you through the regular season with LeBron playing at half speed, pretty much just kind of facilitating, and then you don't need full speed Embiid. Like I'm almost expecting Embiid to be like what this year he did. I looked at his stats.
He just needs to be healthy going into the playoffs. Yeah, he's got to be. Yeah, if he's healthy going into the playoffs, it gives him a good rhythm.
Right.
But if he's injured right before the playoffs, it's tough to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's tough to play.
And he was
because then, like I said, the game's different. Every game's different in the playoff series. It's not, you can't not be in rhythm playing in a game like that and expect to be, as effective.
And we saw what he did in the playoffs this year. He got busy. So but damn, that Joker scored 27 a game this year. When I looked at his stats, I said 27. But that's probably gonna have to go down to like 22 and he was like 20. Yeah. He was like 27 and 8. That's probably gonna go down to like 22 and 10, something like that. Yeah. Maybe he can concentrate on
he's got to be more of an
defense and rebounding
and he's not a great athlete. He's 7'1", whatever, but 7'2", but he's got to be more of a mobile big that can, guard the basket when necessary. And they still need a backup too. Like losing Andre Drummond was huge. Yeah. Andre Drummond too. That was huge.
Yeah, that joker.
I mean, Janai Broom's I never thought he was going to be a good pro, but a guy like, he's going to help the Knicks tremendously, filling the hole for Mitchell. But losing Andre Drummond is a lot, because that dude knows who he is. He's going to rebound, he's going to block shots, he's going to play defense, and you need guys, right? And you need guys like that know their role,
right?
And there's not a whole lot of guys that really understand the game the way that Andre Drummond does,
right? Now you're gonna lose some on the perimeter with him, with some switchability on the perimeter. You're gonna lose some foot. It ain't no foot speed on the perimeter at all. That's over with. Like maybe back when he was playing with Greg Monroe back in the day, they were swift and they were. But when they was in Detroit, him and Greg Monroe, when I'm telling you that two dudes got every damn rebound, bro, it was crazy.
It was fun to watch. Yeah, it was fun to watch. And hey, man, I remember watching both those dudes in high school.
Right. And then I think Greg Monroe ended up going to, I want to say
Georgetown. Was it Georgetown?
When he went to Milwaukee, didn't he end up playing for Milwaukee?
Yeah, I think it was Milwaukee. Yeah.
But
it was Milwaukee. Shoot, I remember him going head to head in high school against Al-Farouq Aminu. Yeah, I went up to Norcross and watched that game, man, and I watched those two guys go head to head, man. It was disgusting to watch. They were having a battle.
They thought Al-Farouq Aminu was gonna be like one of the best to ever do. Him and Marvin
Williams.
They thought them.
Yeah.
And it just goes to your point that you think that people are gonna, it's a lot of the NBA is fit and opportunity also.
Yeah.
Because that's just what it is.
It starts in the draft too.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of guys don't understand how being drafted by the wrong team could jeopardize and ruin your career. Like,
right.
my agent was David Falk, man. So like I was in the Fame group, Mike Higgins, who represented me from the Fame group under David Falk. And the thing we talked about most was never what number I wanted to get drafted. It was who do you want to draft you so you can have the best opportunity to develop. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to play for the Hawks, because they had a veteran team and I could learn to be a pro faster.
Right.
I didn't want to be put in a position where I was trying to figure it out on the fly. Right. Because if you're in a city like Philly trying to figure it out on the fly, they have some of the worst fans you ever seen. And so, knowing those things,
right,
getting to the right team could make or break your career. Like Johnny Flynn being drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves, like as good as he was in college, nobody even knows he was in the league, and he was the 6th or 7th pick in the NBA. Like, there's things like that just really could, derail your career, not understanding how you fit in what systems in the league. And that's really important for guys as they go through this process. You got to think about the teams that, like I always try to tell guys, what players were successful that play like you in the system, whether it's college or pro. And that's where you should be looking at playing, because if you're not, it's not just show up and you get opportunities. A lot of it's politics. A lot of it's, buddy system. I used to play with these guys, so I'm bringing all these guys over here when I'm coaching, or I'm the GM, so I'm bringing all the guys that used to be on the team that was over. I think it's a lot of that stupidity that happens today, more so than it did back in the day.
Right. Because, looking at it like, hey, if Johnny Flynn, like the way that he played reminded me a lot of,
he'd be better today in today's game because of the way that the game is played.
Right. But he reminded me a lot like more floor general type guy. Like they want him to score when you get to the list. Like that's just not his game.
And he went to a team that didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah, way more like I would see him like if he was in more of a Rondo like type role. Perfect. Yeah. But
but they wanted him to score points, exactly. And that's not who he was.
Right, and that's the same thing. If Rondo get drafted by Minnesota, it's probably the same thing because you're a strong personality and you're a floor general, but there's nobody for you to be a floor general for, and that's another thing. Boy, can you do this for me? Talk about how strong of a personality Rondo had to have to come into that Celtics team and be able to run point guard. And you got Ticket over here who don't never shut up because we know that. And he's hella aggressive. Then you got Ray Allen, he cool. Walter Ray just want to get his shots up. And then you got, Paul Pierce who, that's his team. So it's like, how strong of a personality does a rookie have to come into that situation and still not only command respect, but to actually get it done?
Well, the best thing about Rondo is he's got one of the highest basketball IQs you've ever seen, and he sees the floor in a way that is, like they always say, if you could see the game 2 passes ahead, you're pretty good. He was a guy that saw the game 3 passes ahead, sometimes 4.
Right.
And he learned to use his other skills because he was never a great shooter.
No.
So he used his strength. I mean, he had the biggest, like he's got those big gloves, you got the Kawhi Leonards, the Michael Jordans. There's certain guys that just have that advantage because their hands are so big that they could just manipulate the ball very, very well. And Rondo was one of those guys. And, at 6'1", maybe with a, close to a 7'2" wingspan, his defensive prowess, and he did it on the defensive end.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So like his leadership started up the floor. And so, I'll just a story that I've heard KG tell, Rondo tell about KG. It was one of those moments where KG, even though you just said he never stops talking, but people don't realize back in the day, the big man was taught to general the defense from behind. You go here, watch out for the screen, blah blah blah. And Rondo wasn't used to hearing that stuff, so he started hearing KG do it, so he was able to put more pressure on the ball because he could kind of hear what was coming through KG. And so it gave him a chance to put more pressure on the ball, to be more effective. And that's why he was able to become such a greater defender than, playing off and, waiting for the screen to come and trying to get under the screen or over the screen, whatever. He was able to do things because of the communication that was established through their star players. And he became that fourth star player because he learned to play off of those guys. They had a need. And Rondo was the type of guy to make sure that they got what they needed. And that's what a lot of players don't understand. Where do you fit in with the players that are the star players? If you're not a star player yourself, how do I come in and carve out my space? And Rondo did a great job making sure that they got the ball where they wanted. He put pressure on the ball, and he wasn't afraid to stand up to those guys when they weren't playing well.
And that's the main thing, like you said, like that's the part that I thought was the most impressive for a rookie. Is like saying, look, man, we got to get it done. This is what we got to get done. Hey, you're not getting it this time. Ticket it's his turn to get it. Like we got to run some. Ray ain't involved. We got to run some for him. That type of thing. So I mean, I think that's
great floor general, man. I love Rondo. I love watching him play his whole career, even at Kentucky. But but he just was that guy that just understood the game and understood how the pieces work together.
Right. All right. Now switching gears, man. Speaking of this, now listen, this is gonna be an issue this year. Now, I'm not even gonna lie to you. You already kind of hinted toward it when you talked about how is Jaylen Brown gonna lose his ever loving mind the first time he catch LeBron loafing? Like, it's gonna happen. But is he gonna lose his mind, or is he gonna understand that, hey, bro, it just is. He's 41, dog. Like it just is what it is. He'll be 42 by the time we start playing meaningful basketball. But I would be remiss if we didn't talk about this. Tony Allen. They were looking at the top defenders of all time, and TA, your guy, my guy. Like I told people, I wanted to be Tony Allen. I was 6'4", and I was 215, 220. I thought I never cared about scoring. I just wanted to play defense. So that's just how I always was. But anyway, it says TA goes in on LeBron for believing that he should have won Defensive Player of the Year in 2013, and says that players used to hunt him on defense. Now I think that they're wrong about that, where he's saying that he used to hunt it on defense. I've never heard nobody hunt LeBron on defense. I think it's what TA was saying was you were the guy that we had to hunt, as far as we had to know where you were on offense, because you the guy that got to get stopped. And I think that that's what he was talking about. I don't think he was saying that anybody was searching out LeBron. But
I think what he was saying was, like, if you force LeBron to play more defense, it could probably give him a heavier load where it could affect him offensively, because that's where he was at his best, facilitating, scoring, whatever it is that he was doing. But if you got to play both sides of the ball, you're less likely to be efficient on both ends. That consistent. So I think that's where he was coming from with that, but it's you got to be a little entertaining to go viral.
Right. And like I said, I ain't even mad at it, because if he wants to say that, he felt some type of way because he was 22, LeBron was 22, and he was number 23. If he wanted to say he felt like he should have been in front of LeBron because he is a defensive guy and this is what I do. So how you gonna put somebody in front of me that's not a defensive guy? I could understand that. Now, if we're going off of who's got the tools and who's got the most ways to beat you, and this is my big issue. This is my big thing. My big advocacy part for LeBron is, what people got to understand is, there's more than just on-ball defense.
Yeah.
Off-ball and help side defense is just as, if not more important than on-ball defense. Like, you the point of attack defender, but ain't nobody stopping nobody in the NBA. You're not stopping your guy. And like, I was watching one guy that was talking about, he was kind of trying to say, hey, LeBron's right here, and he got Steph Curry, and he can't go by Steph Curry. And I'm like, dude, like, let's think about what you're saying, because you're cherry picking the thing and you're not showing the whole clip. bro, it's 4 dudes in the paint. In some of those every series that they played, LeBron had, like, if Steph Curry was guarding him, I guarantee you Draymond had 2 feet in the paint because Draymond was guarding Tristan Thompson, and we know Tristan Thompson can't shoot to save his life. All right. And then they probably was rotating off of Kevin Love and playing the 50-50 game with him to try to get a late closeout. And then Kyrie was hurt. And who you got? Matthew diving all over out there. Like it's context to everything. The whole point that I'm trying to make is help side defense. It's very important if you are the point of attack defender. And the biggest thing that I watched TA do his whole career is you're not going away from my help. You're gonna go here. I was standing right here. You're not going this way. You're gonna go. I'm pushing you to my help. And he always had great people behind. You got Ticket behind. You got Perk who you just don't want to go down there with Perk because you might not. You might get hurt pretty bad.
It might slip and fall on you.
Then you had Marc Gasol and same thing, Zach Randolph behind you. You don't want to go down there with Randolph either. You might get hurt. And it's like your help side defenders, which I feel like that's probably the biggest part of LeBron's game, and switching in a situation where you don't even think about switching. I think that those are the biggest 2 things, and I think that those are just as important as being an on-ball defender. And if they weren't, then big men would not win Defensive Player of the Year because 9 times out of 10, when a big
they're not guarding the ball.
They're not guarding ball. They just switching over. They coming over help side defense. They're finishing the play rather than initiating.
And I don't disagree. I think it's like the best defender is a combination of, in today's game, let's just call it today's game. Because when I was playing, help side defense was probably a bigger thing because, guys didn't dominate the ball as much. Right. So you had to help on the cuts. You had to help on the back doors. You had to help on the post ups. You had to help in certain areas. But today, it's a combination of being able to switch and guard multiple positions. It's about help side defense because nowadays that's not as important because you got so many 3-point shot shooters.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So help side defense isn't looked at as much because you got to stay home. Why would I help on a drive when the guy is going to shoot a 3-pointer from the corner, which is the highest percentage shot you could take? So, they don't worry about that as much. So the defensive rules are a little bit different. So, you want to make sure that it's just tough to give that award to somebody who plays great offense like Jordan, who was, a great offensive player, obviously the greatest, if not the greatest, arguably. He played both sides of the ball, but I don't know if he was a better defender than Scottie Pippen, but he got Defensive Player of the Year. You know what I'm saying? Because of who he was and his aura and all of that type of stuff.
Right.
But all that to say is, the Defensive Player of the Year is the guy who has the biggest impact on scoring, like against his team. Right. So whether it's on the ball or in a help side defensive position, like LeBron's a great off-ball defender because of his ability to elevate, block shots, all those type of things. So you can't look at him. He and Tony Allen are just two different types of defenders.
Totally different types of defenders, right?
Yeah, doesn't make one better or the other unless it's more effective for their team.
Exactly.
Like and on top of that, Tony Allen didn't have the scoring load that LeBron has.
Right. Hey, TA gonna lock you up, and that's it. Don't worry. Don't look at me to score no buckets unless I get a steal, and I'm going to get on that rim. That's what I'm doing. Don't look at me for no corner 3. Don't look at me for no doggone no middies, no floaters. I'm getting on that rim, and that's why I used to love TA though, man, because like a lot of people don't remember before he got hurt. Man, that joker could jump. Well, he still jump out the gym. But like when he was in that Celtics 42 Jesus Christ, that joker had dynamite in his legs some nights. Well, I'm talking about going down Broadway, boom, and you like, this dude's 6'4"? Like, yeah, he was. But hey,
he was tough, man, and he was strong too. That's the other thing. Like, 6'4", solid, like even on switches, that dude was an animal. Like
Right.
you wasn't just gonna post him up because you was 6'8", 6'9", whatever. You know what I'm saying? You just didn't. He wasn't gonna let you get to your spot. So like that dude. Hey, listen, man. Arguably one of the top 5 defenders of all time. Scottie Pippen, Rodman, like, and then Tony Allen, and then after that, it's like it's really optional.
Right. And I
You
can't
know what I'm
even get
saying?
mad at it because if you can make a career out like your
Hey, Draymond
team
Green's
knows, yeah,
arguable.
Draymond got to be in there too. Now that's my favorite player
Yeah,
in the league
Draymond's
right now.
arguably one up there,
Yeah.
but after that, I mean, then, Kareem is great. Bill Russell. I mean, you got guys that just,
Yeah.
were outstanding defenders. And, and then you got guys who are, role players didn't get as much of publicity as they do today,
Right.
but guys like Anthony Bonner, who was a great defender, you know what I'm saying?
Shoot, Bruce Bowen was a great
Terry
defender.
Cummings,
Yeah, Terry Cummings.
Bruce Bowen. I mean, Ben Wallace, that those guys were great defenders too, man. And they were all very different. And,
Right.
but like I said, it's really about how efficient and effective of a defensive player, how did it affect the scoring against your team?
Right.
Not just individually, but collectively as well.
Right. But hey, TA was a player and he was fun to watch, and I totally get it. And like I said, I ain't mad at you for feeling some type of way. Like I said, I'm an IT guy. So if I'm an IT guy and you think you over there fixing computers and stuff, man, I'm not trying to hear that, man. Bro, you ain't no IT guy. You ain't really fixing nothing, man. Like
they're using Chat GPT, man.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So I can see it both ways, but if we're being honest, ain't nobody stopping nobody in the league. Like you got it takes a lot of help. It takes a lot of help. So
yeah, it does. And I mean, the game's too wide open today.
Yeah.
To be a great one-on-one defender. That's not to say you're not going to get a stop here and there,
right?
Like that, but consistently the way Tony Allen did it, that's not going to happen.
Could you imagine him playing today? Though, would they even let
And
him
he
play
wasn't
like
really
that
stopping
today?
nobody.
Like,
he was guarding Kobe. He was guarding guys that was still getting 35. Like, but if he wasn't guarding them, they would have got 50.
They got 50, yeah, right. and that's the thing. It's funny because it's like today, would he even be allowed to play like that? Because they got freedom. Yeah, they got freedom of movement. They got all this other
hand
stuff.
check, all that's gone. All that's
you
gone.
Can't even touch people on cuts no more. Like, bro, I can't touch this dude on.
I was taught in high school and in college. I was
cut.
Taught.
You don't let nobody.
Yeah.
You let nobody go. Always bump the cutter. And you can't do none of that now.
You can't do that now. You would be flagrant. You'd be flagrant 2 up out of the game.
Exactly. That same thing Kenyon Martin was saying. I think Kenyon Martin was saying that he was like, I couldn't play today because there's no cutting to the basket without me. There's no situation where you're cutting to the basket and I don't make you feel something. Pause.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just no situation where that's gonna happen. But it's fun. It's a fun thing to watch. I love to see players go. Like obviously, like he said, it ain't no hate to Brian and nothing like that. But like I said, I can see it from his perspective as a player that this is what I really do. And
yeah. So that's like apples to oranges. It's
right.
not apples to apples. You know what I'm saying? Like 2 different type of players, 2 different type of, 2 different types of defenders. Like you weren't asked to do what LeBron was asked to do.
Right. And it's like, hey, this is how he like LeBron. Defense is something that you do fun. It's fun to you every now and then. This is how I feed my kids, man.
No question. No question.
This is what I do. So I ain't mad at him for feeling some type of way, but I just think that take was a little bit off. It's a little bit off, man. I'm not gonna let him get that. Like he ain't played no defense. Like, come on, man. But now, if you said like that wasn't our focal, you weren't even in the game plan for us to worry about you defensively. Like them chase downs wasn't in the game plan for, you know what I'm saying? Like I can see that part, man. But hey, it is what it is, man. But like I said, man, this season is gonna be fun to watch, man. We got a lot of stuff going on. A lot of teams are fortified. We got I think that Boston is gonna be better than people think because I think that Jaylen Brown and Paul George, even though they're not the same player like this. It's not close anymore.
Yeah, but Paul
But
George is more of a more willing number two.
There you go. And that's what I was gonna say. Like I don't think you're losing that much by going to Paul. Because this dude played beside Brody and shot like 60% from 3 1 year, bro. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, he's cool with being a number two.
And I think Paul George is a better number two, in my opinion. You know, because he's willing to be the number two. Like Jaylen Brown wants to be number one, and he's not. Even though, you know, everybody considered him a number two, he didn't feel like he was a number two. And I'm not mad at him, but it's still, you know, like it is what it is.
You could tell he was constantly in a mode where he had to be ready to switch on at any time because. Like some of the stuff that they ask him to do some games, like Tatum just didn't bring it at all tonight. And bro, we need you to go get 30 so we can win. And he just at a moment's notice, you ain't got it tonight, I got it. Like that. Like that is hard to do.
And that's a mentality too, but he's built that way. You know, like I've watched him since he was a freshman in high school.
Right.
And he's always been that way. I didn't even like him in high school. I'm not even gonna lie, because I just never thought he passed the ball at all. But you know, he you know that came with development and you know the way he had to play in high school, and you know that just watching him more and more is like he started to grow on me, and I've started enjoying how hard he played, you know, like how passionate he played, you know, all those things started coming into play.
Yeah, and like you said, you don't win NBA Finals MVP off ball without having that type of mentality, Like you said, I think you said it best just now when you said he knows he's the number two with the mentality of
a number one.
I really should be number one. Like I really, like when we play 2K and somebody hit us and they get 3 buckets in a row or something, like we playing random wreck.
Yeah, but
I really could have been doing this the whole game.
Down 10, and they think they.
Yeah, I really could have been doing this the whole game. Y'all been passing it, but it ain't like that with him. Like
the reason we lose it. You really the reason we lose it.
Hey, you right about that, man. But yeah, like I said, man. Funny. So what's your outlook for this year? Like you said, I know you said your caveats or your conditions are they got to know that this is yours. I'm gonna give my conditions next. Our number 2 condition, 2 of our conditions are the same. 1 is not. So yours was Embiid got to stay healthy.
Yep.
LeBron got to understand that 15 and 10. 15, well, you say 8. 15
and
points,
8, yeah.
Yeah, 15 is his ceiling. We don't need you trying to score no more than about 15, brother. Like, and then, Embiid got to stay healthy. And then you say they got to understand that Jaylen Brown is number 1. Oh, yeah, and not be starstruck.
Yeah.
I say that I agree with you on the starstruck. I need Embiid to either rest until he's healthy or to just limit himself 20 minutes a game. Whatever you do, just be healthy enough to get to the playoffs. Them young guys can carry you in the regular season. Don't worry about it. Get there when you can. So Embiid staying healthy, number 1. I do think LeBron 15 and 10, 15 and 12, something like that. I think he led the league in assists last time he played point guard. So I think that's easy.
He's definitely capable. You know, that's the good thing.
15 points. But I think that they need to understand that Maxey the man. Hey, Maxey the guy. And they need to unlock Maxey and let him get it going like Jalen Brunson, just off ball, chaos, and then VJ understanding that you can get like you can be like James Harden. More or less, like your first 3 years, you ain't making no money. Them first 3 years of your rookie contract anyway. It's okay. Everybody understands what you can do. You gonna get paid. You're going to get freaking paid after your 3rd year. I promise you that. But what you got to do is just be like, look, man, I'm cool with what I'm getting right now. Everybody knows I can get 30, but I'm cool with getting this 15. And I think they'll be fine because, like we said, we seen it happen with James Harden. We seen it happen with Shea. We seen it happen with who's somebody else? Joe Johnson. Joe Johnson when he was up there playing in Boston, and then
that was his rookie year. I was in Boston. That was that was when I was in the Beans. We drafted him, right? And I was actually, like the Chris, who was the general manager at the time, he was, we had a meeting, and I told him, I said, Paul and Joe can't coexist, man. They're the same player.
Right.
They both need the ball, and we ended up making a great trade in Tony Delk and Jr. And Rodney Rogers to bring those guys in for Joe, who ended up becoming a star in Phoenix.
Right.
But it was good for Joe, and it was good for us because we ended up losing obviously to the Nets in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lost to the Lakers. But for the most part, man, Joe Johnson, yeah, he's that dude was a monster.
What did he put up? I want to say his rookie season he put up 18 a game, and they was like,
well, he was
what?
he was averaging like 16 for us, and then it went up to about 18 in Phoenix.
Right. Yeah, that Joker was that when I'm telling you talking about somebody that could get buckets. When he came over to the Hawks or whatever, I really was like the year that he left, like right after he left, and the Hawks went to like the Eastern Conference Finals or whatever. I was like, bro, if we'd have had ISO Joe with that team where we just had everybody that was just playing defense and hitting threes and stuff. I was like, bro, if we had anybody that could just get a bucket by themselves, it would have been crazy. They might have could have made it to the finals, and then
they were just missing a superstar, a guy that could take the game over. You know.
And if that would have been the case, bro, I really feel like it would have been they probably could have got by him. They probably wouldn't have got by him, but it's nice to dream. But then we seen Bud go over there and go to Milwaukee and do the same thing, surround a superstar with shooters and defense, and they won the title. So
yeah. I mean, Giannis a big part of that, though.
Oh yeah, ain't no doubt about that, bro.
Giannis is, but I mean, he was able to get away with what he got away with, but now, people know how to guard him now. Like you wall him up until he learns how to shoot. You really, yeah.
And I think that this is me being me. I don't think he did himself any favors going to Miami.
Going to Miami is the worst thing. Yeah, that would have been the worst place LeBron could have went with no shooters.
No shooters.
Yeah,
and no, I mean, you got trying to get to the rim. Like,
it's terrible.
Yeah, that would have been crazy. But hey, hopefully they'll make their work out down there, him and Bam, and get a couple shooters. They'll be fine, man. But hey, like we said, what do you think? What's your number for this season? How many games you think Philly gonna win? You already said it might be a 3. You can see them being a 3
I think they'll be a 3-4 seed. Yeah, I think they could be a 3-4 seed at their best, 6-7 seed at their worst.
Okay. If everybody stays healthy, I can't see them being no less than a 3, like you said.
Yeah, I can see that.
Number 1 is a tall order though, because you got to stay healthy to be number 1. You
and
have to stay healthy.
I mean, the Knicks they're the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are still the team to beat right now.
Correct.
So, with that being said, you got the Knicks, and I think Boston's still Boston, like they're going to be competitive. So like I said, that 3rd seed is kind of wide open in the East.
Yeah. Night to night, they're going to be hard to deal with, but I think that if Embiid is healthy, they will be nearly impossible to deal with in the playoffs. They're going to be hard to deal with night to night, but you got a healthy Embiid that's ready to play 20 games at full throttle, because that's about what you're going to play in the play. Hold on, how many playoff series you got? 1, 2, finals, and then, so what? 1, 2, finals, 4 series. So Embiid got to be ready.
7.
Yeah, he got to be ready to give you about 30 games in the playoffs, man. Like that, whatever you got to do to get Embiid into the playoffs healthy, that's what you got to do. That's all I'm saying. Whatever you got to do. If you got to go get Nick Richards and tell him play half the year, and then Embiid just gonna play every other night, so whatever you got to do, you got to get Embiid into the playoffs healthy, and then or I mean, because even when Boston won, I mean, they had you had Porzingis, and I mean, he gave you 2 good games before he got hurt, so like, but that put you in the lead for that. That put him in the lead for that finals, and then nobody could deal with their length after that. Luka them, Kyrie he can't guard Jaylen Brown or Tatum. You know, it was tough. That was tough. That was tough on them.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, big man, hey, we gonna let you get up out of here, man. I appreciate you coming through for my first podcast. We're gonna get it more streamlined and get it better. We're gonna get better at this
Yeah,
thing.
you know I'm here. Yeah, I got your support big time, man. And don't forget, I need them shirts.
Oh yeah, I got you, man. Hey, look, send me. I'm gonna text you my email. You do that right there. We gonna get you taken care of, man. But hey, like we said, chat, LeBron in Philly, it's gonna be fun to watch. It ain't gonna be no defense played this year, but TA was tripping about young LeBron. Like I'm not gonna let you get that off and be like young LeBron when strapping something up. Like he didn't play, like he didn't strap up D Rose, and I mean just pretty much took and then Tony Parker one series. He didn't win against Kawhi and doggone Paul George, and my personal favorite when he told everybody, look, I got y'all he's killing y'all. Jamal Murray killing y'all. I'm gonna do this. If we gonna lose, it's gonna be me losing. So you know, I mean, we saw it happen. So like, but now I agree, I can't get mad at you. That's all you gonna see is chase downs now. That's all you gonna see, because that
they're not bad. They get good to have.
As that foot speed over with. But he won a championship off that chase down too, though, big dog. So you can't get too mad, man. Anyway, man, we're gonna catch you guys later on, man. I appreciate y'all. If you still in here, hit the like button. We're gonna try to make this thing a regular thing. We gotta get our nights together and stuff like that, but we're gonna let y'all know. We're gonna get our topics. I'm gonna get me some graphics all around here and all that, and we're gonna make it top tier, man. But y'all let me know what y'all think. Watch some of those other videos. This has been Rashawn McLeod, your favorite first round pick. That's what he say. Your favorite first round pick, man. We about to play some 2K. I'm about to hop in.
Let's get it in.
All right,